Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the Civil Point podcast with none other than your host, moi, Ariana Dieva. We are back with a brand new episode here tonight, and we have a lot to get into, and a lot that we were such on a big wave after November 5th and those elections where Democrats really swept a lot of big states such as New York with Mamdani, New Jersey, Virginia really turning blue, as well as Prop 50 in California. We were on a big wave of some hope, actually. And what I'm hearing right now and what I'm seeing is that Democrats are about to fold in this shutdown, and I'm not okay with it. But before we get to the information you guys all want to talk about, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, because you want to be notified every time I have live streams, because you don't want to miss out on brand new episodes of the Civil Point podcast. You can subscribe right here on YouTube, and then, everything else is right up there. But main course right here on YouTube. So let's go ahead and get into it. Over a month now, it has been labeled the Democrat shutdown, when we all know it has been the Republican shutdown, who just don't want to help Americans, who just do not care about Americans, right? We all know that. Everyone with brains can understand the push and pull that's going on in regards to the government shutdown, in regards to funding, in regards to funding the government, in regards to making sure subsidies and healthcare prices don't rise for Americans in the upcoming year. We all understand it. Every one of us that have brains understand why Democrats are fighting so hard to ensure that Republicans get on board to not allow healthcare premiums and care for Americans, children, women, men, everyone. They don't want these healthcare prices to rise. And yet Republicans still at a standpoint that, you know what, we really don't care. We're going to now have a contingency and have a push and pull about SNAP benefits. And we're going to not care if Americans, if women and children get fed. That is now what is that contingency here when it comes to this Republican shutdown. So I'm reading this article, and let's go ahead and pull it up here. Hopefully it's up. Yes, it is up. And it is from Politico. It just apparently surfaced that there was a minibus that has come out of government talks out of Congress. So let's go ahead and reveal this and why it triggered me a little bit so much. So it says the package unveiled on Sunday, which is today, would fund the operations of Congress and congressional support agencies, the Department of Agriculture and the FDA, and programs and benefits for veterans, as well as Defense Department construction projects for the 2026 fiscal year. Passed on its own, the so-called minibus package would not reopen all federal programs or deliver on Democrats' demand for an extension of expiring health insurance subsidies. But top lawmakers see it as a significant demonstration of bipartisan compromise that could help break the shutdown impasse after nearly 6 weeks of partisan sparring. Yeah. This is a problem for me. This is a big problem for me, because I just want to know if Democrats stood on business 10 toes down in regards to their fight for health care, right? If they stood 10 toes down in regards to their fight for health care, why are we now backtracking? What was the point of fighting for Americans' healthcare prices not to rise from the beginning? What was the point of getting in the mud and getting dirty in the first place if you were going to fold and not get any part of what you're fighting for? I'm confused. I'm a little bit bamboozled. And it makes me not, again, think that Democrats have a backbone when it comes to these soulless Republicans who have downright said, we don't care about feeding children in America. We don't care about providing funding for Americans to eat so they don't starve. We don't care about, hey, Your healthcare prices are going to rise. Find a way. Afford it. They don't care. And now Democrats in this minibus that is apparently passing are not getting any of their demands met. So what was the point of stalling this government shutdown? It comes and makes the Democrats look so effing horrible. If they were able to pass a resolution, if they were able to pass this minibus where Democrats and their fight, their positions don't get met. It makes the Democrats and Democratic leaderships in the House and Congress look so effing horrible and weak. For 6 weeks, you guys have been fighting it's the Republican shutdown. You guys have been fighting that we're not going to give up when it comes to healthcare prices rising for Americans. You guys are fighting that SNAP benefits need to be reinstalled and doled out from our federal government. And yet, if you were not ready to stand 10 toes down on that and fight to the very end, what was the point in fighting for it in the beginning? Because now you have SNAP benefits not going out in the month of November, and it's November 8th or 9th. It's November 9th. What was the point if you're not getting what you asked for that is defending American citizens? So on the flip side, if we really take a look at this, though, when we look at Democrats cowering and bending to Republicans, it makes them look so bad come the 2026 midterms. And running current Democrats who support Democratic leadership will 100% look the other way to an independent or a Republican, because now you are fighting for American healthcare and you lost. Why would we allow you to fight for our health care, for our livelihoods, for our children, for our agriculture and food to be put on tables ever again? Being in this most extreme predicament and a hot pot of where Democrats really had the upper hand, and yet they're going to cower. They're going to cower in this moment for what? For what? I'm confused. So it's just frustrating to see Democratic leadership allegedly fold in this government shutdown. Now, yes, do I want people to be fed? Absolutely. But if you're going to get in the mud, make sure you get in the mud until the last bit and you get what you asked for when it comes to these soulless Republicans who've clearly stated and manipulate or tries to manipulate the public and thinking it's a Democrat shutdown. Because now if you cower, if the Democrats cower, if Schumer cowers, if Jeffries cowers, it makes it look like, hey, they cowered. They were the ones that were holding this shutdown up. It was not the Republicans. So all in all, if Democrats came in fighting and they come out losing, it is going to end bad for them come the 2026 midterms, because Americans and voters will not forget this. It is the longest government shutdown. It is a shutdown that not only affected now healthcare prices coming in the next year, but also affected food availability for children and women when it comes to our benefits that the federal government provides. Voters will not forget that. So, talking about a blue wave come November 5th with New York and Mamdani, come New Jersey and Virginia and California, such successful hope and a blue wave. If Democrats cower in this government shutdown and do not achieve what they set out to achieve since the beginning, since they stepped in the mud with these soulless Republicans, if they do not achieve the healthcare subsidies, that way healthcare does not rise, if they do not achieve the fact that SNAP benefits have to be doled out by the federal government and distributed, if they do not achieve these goals, it will make them look so damn weak. And I can guarantee you, everyone thinks the Democratic Party is weak as it is. But to sit here and fight for Americans and lose Why would American voters ever vote you in again? And this is the problem. This is the problem with Democrats. There's a little bit of empathy in them. But right now, I'm telling you, don't have empathy. Go straight after the head of the snake, which is the Republicans. Don't cower to a resolution that isn't going to achieve your goals of ensuring Americans have somewhat affordable health care, even though it's not even affordable as it is, versus what it will be if they're able to increase healthcare prices. Fight. Don't cower to these individuals, these soulless individuals. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and move on here. But before I do, I did just want to pull this up because it's insane to me that the Trump administration is continuing to play push and pull with feeding children, with feeding Americans. Now, I can 100% agree that there is certain overhauls that need to happen in regards to our food benefits program for Americans. I can 100% agree. It needs to be overhauled. It needs to be monitored more severely. But right now, going into this time of year especially, this is not the time to play contingency and push and pull with families' opportunity to feed their children. It's not. And yet, the Trump administration is going into courts and having courts rule on their favor that as the federal government, guess what? Federal government does not have to provide the money to dole out and distribute to SNAP benefit. They don't. So it's insane to me that the person who is supposed to be in charge of America and fight for Americans is now restricting and repealing money from Americans to afford food. And let's be honest, the real reason that this man is fighting so hard, the real reason this damn orange Lorax motherfucker is fighting so hard to not feed Americans is because there is no money for Americans. It's because there is no money for Americans. I mean, he stole all the cookies out the cookie jar. It's the truth. As a president, if you see Americans are going to be going hungry, why wouldn't you find some sort of fund to fund the actual program to help feed Americans? Want to know why? Because in America, right now, the man in charge, Con Don, the name rings true, has conned America. There is no money to fund the SNAP benefit program to feed women and children. Let's talk about the $17 trillion. The $17 trillion in tariff revenue that the United States has populated since Trump's regime started. Where is that $17 trillion? And why can't any of that money be appropriated to this extreme need of hunger for Americans? Why can't we find funds to fund the SNAP program? Because the money isn't available. Trump is spending it. He's using it for his own dime. He's having Kristi Noem buy private jets. He's spending it on a $300 million ballroom, even though he's trying to get reimbursed for that through our DOJ. I mean, it's complete insanity. Think about it. A man, an American president, going to watch Americans starve at one of the coldest and hardest times of the year when it comes to the economy itself, let alone affording food to place on a table every night. He's going to sit there and actively fight against putting food on your tables. Is that an American president? Is that someone you want to represent the country and fight and rule on your behalf? Because it's not someone I would want to fight and rule on my behalf. And going into the 2026 elections and the midterms, going into the 2028 election, if Trump were to miraculously run again, I want you guys to remember that this man actively fought against feeding Americans who need federal assistance. Remember it. So while he's out here fighting against feeding American citizens, he's out here building his ballroom. Look at that. He went ahead and posted this earlier today. Americans not getting their SNAP benefits. Americans not receiving adequate health care. The government is shut down. Healthcare subsidies could rise come the next year, and he has no care in the world. Our president of the United States has no care in the world about the major issues that are facing Americans, such as the economy, such as healthcare, such as food pricing. Everything, according to Trump, is going A-OK. While America burns, he is sitting here building a ballroom and posting pictures of his brand new ballroom entrance on Truth Social, or Lie Center, I should call it, because there's no truth when it comes to Truth Social. It's Lie Central. But, like, this is insanity. As America is starving, Trump is posting this. A picture of a lavish entrance for the ballroom. And let me tell you, those curtains look expensive. And it's really disheartening to say, I told you so. It's really disheartening to be in the boat and say, we told you so. That Trump does not care about Americans. He cares about the lavish lifestyle that affords himself from the presidency. The grift that he's able to enable off of the oval, the presidency seal. He doesn't care about Americans. He's a billionaire, has always been a billionaire, and will always be a billionaire until probably the day he croaks. So again, the ballroom being built while America literally starves, and we have Trump breadlines going around corners. That is the antithesis of what it means to be an American president. And that is the 100% truth. So, in my opinion, Democrats do not cower, do not fall, do not kowtow to the soulless Republicans that are in our government, in our Congress, fighting to take health care, affordable health care, away from Americans. Do not cower to soulless Republicans who are fighting to ensure that women and children don't eat. Don't cower. But we're going to go ahead and move on from this. I honestly feel like MAGA is imploding. I do. From the inside to the outside, everywhere you see it, MAGA is really starting to implode. From the social influencers such as Ben Shapiro, Nick Fuentes, Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson, like Candace Owens, like all those major influencers are starting to have a little bit of a turn in regards to Trump. And they won't say it outright, obviously. They'll kind of be like, well, I'm not agreeing with this policy with Trump, but I agree with everything else. But you can see the wheel starting to turn. Things are starting to click a little bit in regards to these influencers saying, like, wait, what is going on here? Like, hold the phone. Hold the phone. And obviously, it's not hitting them until it hits them personally and affects them personally. But I just want to show this because Fox News aired this. And you have to 100% think that there is a deeper reason as to why they're airing such insanity when apparently, according to Fox News and the right-wing media ecosystem that is so infiltrated and lips on Trump's ass so much, why did they air this? Here it is. That is Trump getting booed out of the building in regards to a Commanders game. What? Fox is one of those programs that likes to play fairy tales and say everything's A-okay when the White House is literally burning. So for Fox News to put this on Fox News, Donald Trump being booed, Americans showing their disavowance for Donald Trump, that is so critical. And it means so much. It's not just Fox News reporting that Trump got booed. No, it's feeding their system to say, okay, maybe we need to turn the tide a little bit. Maybe Trump isn't what we need anymore. Maybe Trump is finished. So why would they go ahead and put this on Fox News? It's because Maga is imploding and they are getting ready to turn on Trump. As I've always said, Trump was never Big A. Trump was never head honcho in charge. Trump was a puppet. He was a mask. There was a hand under him, and that hand is the founders of that vicious, disgusting, evil Bible Belt book of Project 2025. And which I will go ahead and pull up here, but once they finish with Trump and he is unusable to this administration and to the future of America, he will be, I can guarantee you that. But here is another reason why I say MAGA is imploding. Fox over here putting out news and showing it actual footage of Donald Trump and American citizens showing their disavowance for Trump. But not only that, I wanted to turn to this here. This is Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon is a known Trump loyalist. He has served in Trump's White House in the first term. He is still very active in the right-wing hemisphere of the extremism when it comes to white nationalism. And now I want you to listen to Steve Bannon, because the right really knows that something bad is coming if they cannot consolidate power through Trump. Listen to Steve Bannon here.
And I will tell you right now, as God is my witness, if we lose the midterms and we lose 2028, some in this room are going to prison, myself included. They're not going to stop. They are getting more and more and more radical. And we have to counter that. And what do we have to counter it with? We have to counter it with more action, more intense action, more urgency. We're burning daylight. If you look across every aspect of this, we have to codify what President Trump has done by executive order, right?
They are running rampantly scared. The right is scared. They are petrified that this panopticon that they have built or started to build in the United States is falling apart. And this all coincides with the wins in the November 5th elections when it comes to New York, New Jersey, Virginia, and things of that nature. And it's just insane to me that Steve Bannon here says, some of us in this room will go to jail, myself included. What does that even mean? I know what it means. It means that you know you've done something wrong. It means that you've known and have known that you have broken the law. And you know that you will be held accountable for that if this coup of taking over the United States of American government does not go to plan with Trump. You know that you will be held accountable for the treason you've committed for a coup against the United States and the freedoms that is offered to its American citizens. That is what he's saying. Some of us will go to jail in this room, and I myself included will be one of them. Why would you say that if you are not guilty of breaking the law? Why would you say that if you are not guilty of trying to extort the American government? Why would you say that if you were not guilty? I'm confused. So for Steve Bannon to sit here and say, some of us will go to jail, myself included, unless we use blunt, brutal, and excessive force to take over America, is really telling. And it goes back to that white nationalism sense of fear that I've described before. It's not about the sense of preserving whiteness. as it's more about the sense of the fear of retaliation and accountability that will be held to you for the crimes you committed against other groups of people. That is what it comes when it comes to white nationalism. It's debunked. It's not something that is patriotic. It's not something that is Christian-like. No, white nationalism is an infestation in American soil and American young white men. White nationalism should not exist. White nationalism and the KKK and Nazis alike need to be disavowed and denounced and made into active American terrorist groups that are domestic. And yet we have someone like Steve Bannon able to go into conferences and promote this rhetoric that if we don't attack first, if we don't codify, if we don't solidify, if we don't have Trump in our corner to build this wall of anti-democracy, by the time we get done, we are going to be fried, finished. So again, it is just this sense in regards to this white nationalism. It's not about white nationalism. It's not about the great white replacement. It's about the great fear of being held accountable for your illegal and unlawful actions when it comes to what this administration, what the first Trump administration, what this current Trump administration has done actively to undermine the Constitution and the fabric of America. They fear the accountability come the 2026 elections. They fear the accountability come the 2028 elections, and they know it. So I just want to also look at this here, because it's Mike Johnson essentially saying the same exact thing. Mike Johnson is the current Speaker of the House.
The president is on the ballot in 2026. President Trump is on the ballot next fall. Because if we lose the majority, if the Republicans, the common sense people here who are doing the job for the American people, if we lose the majority in the House and this radical element of the Democrat Party were able to take over, we've already seen that movie. They will try to end the Trump administration. He won't have 4 years, he'll have only 2. And they will try to systematically unwind all the important reforms that we've done for the American people.
You see? It's the same exact language, just a different stupid-ass bottom body in regards to butt plug Mike Johnson, okay? So, again, it's crazy that these words are being spewed. If we don't win, if we do not stop the left, if we do not codify the extremism and the coup that we are doing by destroying democracy today, we will not have a country to live in, because we will all be held accountable and be in the jail. And some of us probably under the jail where they deserve to be. So again, it's just this right-wing extremism running rampant, and now in fear, because they thought the lies that they were feeding the American public were actually being manipulated into the American public's minds, that Trump is saving America, that this administration is destroying woke liberals, destroying woke everything, woke this, woke that, DEI, destroying every institution that gave minorities a chance in this country. They thought, the Trump administration thought, that they would be able to feed these lies and the American public would not come to fruition of the truth. But we have social media. And that's the problem for this administration. Not to say it like that. We don't want them censoring social media and taking over that. But that's the problem for this administration, is that their social media. Real people, real lives are being exposed, and real lives are being affected by the policies you're implementing. And it's not just about, whoever and wherever anymore. It's about, oh, my neighbor. It's about, oh, my sister. It's about, oh, my brother. It's about, oh, me. I'm being affected. So again, I just want to reiterate that it's insane that they are sitting here touting, if we do not have excessive force to install this new regime of American anti-democracy, well then guess what? We will all be in jail, according to Steve Bannon. Again, why would you say you would be in jail if you've done nothing wrong? I'm confused. So again, we have Trump just going off, The Democrats will terminate the filibuster in the first hour if and when they assume control or power. Republicans have what the Democrats want. We should do it now and have the greatest 3 years in history. They are running rampantly scared. Trump right now is running around in his diaper in the White House, snoozing practically because, that man is going out his mind, and he is running petrified scared ever since November 5th. But let's go ahead. I am so proud of Governor Shapiro of Pennsylvania. He went off on J.D. Vance, and I was like, thank you, someone. Go off on, Justina Dieva. Oh, wait, no. He's Justina Diva. I'm Ariana Dieva. Justina Diva Vance. That's what I call him because that's his drag name for me. Justina Diva. Anyway, let's go ahead and hear what Governor Shapiro had to say. That's if their sound.
Vance piece and the other piece. This is as a result of us continuing to push legally with the judge and the judge ruling that no longer would there be a partial payment, but the full payment. And the moment we got that ruling, Secretary Arkush went into action, pushed that button, and got the dollars flowing again, the federal dollars. And look, as for J.D. Vance,
let me point this out here. Because, again, isn't it funny how Democratic leadership is fighting for funding SNAP benefits, for funding American programs that help Americans, while Republican leadership is continuing actively trying to destroy the structures that exist to help American citizens?
I got to say, look, I think America has a president and a vice president that don't give a damn about all Americans. They have made that crystal clear.
They have made that crystal clear because even Donald Trump himself said, I hate my enemies. And what does he describe Democrats and the left as? His enemies. So obviously he has said that he does not give two craps about half of America.
And at least with Donald Trump,
fact check.
He's transparent about that. J.D. Vance is a total phony. And let me explain why. J.D. Vance rose to some prominence by writing a book about growing up in Appalachia, where there's a whole lot of people who get SNAP. He made millions of dollars on the backs of telling their stories, and then he turned his damn back on those very people who he likes to write about and claim as his own.
A whole grifter.
Here's another thing J.D. Vance claims. He claims to be a person of faith.
Where's
I
that
know
faith?
my Bible. And my Bible teaches us that we are to love thy neighbor. And we are to feed the hungry. Deuteronomy says if you see a person who is in need, you don't give them a clenched fist, you open up your hand.
The fact that Governor Shapiro of Pennsylvania can sit here and quote the Bible with accuracy and describe what we should be doing while antithesizing what J.D. Vance is continuously doing as Vice President of the United States by purporting supporting the destruction of our institutions and the destruction of actually helping Americans, it's clear that J.D. Vance should not be the president. And it's very clear that the people who continue to still support him at this point in this administration, 10 months in, are still under the Maga spell and the Maga cult. And somehow we have to continue fighting and shoving down the truth down their ecosystems, because finally, hopefully, one day it will exist that the truth actually is that Donald Trump and this administration is hurting them and is benefiting the tech oligarchs, is benefiting this dictatorship in regards to this new America.
So for J.D. Vance now to turn around after claiming all these things his whole life and literally go to court to stop hungry people from eating, that is not only phony, it is shameful.
And it is
and
evil.
This is who is leading America today. And folks got to wake up and realize the people who are leading in America quite literally want to keep people hungry. And you'll excuse me for getting emotional about it, but when I see hungry people in my state who are hungry because of J.D. Vance's bullshit politics, That makes me angry. And that's why I went to court. And that's why we're funding SHARE. And that's why we're putting dollars back on people's SNAP cards, because that's what the people of Pennsylvania deserve, and America deserves better than J.D. Vance.
America deserves better than this administration, and I can guarantee you all that. And what Governor Shapiro said in regards to everything about J.D. Vance, that also includes what this administration from the head, Trump, is doing, is 100% true. It's phony. It's disgusting. It's grifting. And it's a complete hypocrisy when it comes to caring for Americans versus the implementations and actions this administration continues to take. And it's very frustrating to see that people are still defending this administration. And honestly, the people defending this administration are the people who want to be like Donald Trump, a convicted felon. That is who is idolizing Donald Trump, hoping that one day they can share the billions of Donald Trump, hoping one day that they have the opportunity to rise up to the level of monetary value of Donald Trump, when in truth, what this presidency is not about giving people hope. It's about keeping people under a thumb to ensure that the rich stay richer and the poor stay poorer. So if you're sitting here making under, I would say, $100,000, maybe even $150,000 a year, these people in our top offices in this country do not care about you. They just don't. And honestly, you should wake up to it. And honestly, if you don't wake up to it, it's going to be too late, and this country is going to be under the ocean at that point. But I just want to continue on here because I wanted to talk about, again, the weirdness when it comes to this administration who likes to quote the Bible, who likes to use the Bible as a prop to say, we follow God and we want God in your homes. We want God in your service. We want God's in your schools, and we want God practically inside your bathrooms. Okay? So I want you to think about how often this administration continues to tout the idea that they believe in Jesus, that they believe in Christ, that they believe in the Christian religion. And then listen to this from Eric Trump.
Destroy us, and yet here we are, and we have this amazing peace, deal on Charlie Kirk's birthday. I can't tell you how many things are lining up. I mean, think about the fact that this book came out on Charlie Kirk's birthday, on the same day as we have peace in the Middle East. I mean, so many different factors are all coming together at.
Oh my God, sorry.
At once.
By the way, peace in the Middle East did not last because it's still going on. So all this touting that Donald Trump ended 8 wars, knock it down to 7, knock it down to probably 6, knock it down to 5, okay? Let's stop it.
In the most unthinkable, unbelievable journey. You couldn't have scripted this. You could not, the wildest author could not have scripted this book and the trials and tribulations and twists and turns to get to where we are today. And look how much better humanity and our world is. We're saving Christianity. We're saving God. We're saving the family unit. We're saving this nation. I mean, DEI is out the window, Benny. I mean, you no longer have Colin Kaepernick kneeling for the national, for the national anthem. You no longer have, a Budweiser going woke as hell. Or all of this is dead.
All of this is dead. Representing your communities is dead. But what I wanted to really hone in on in regards to that clip from Eric Trump is that they're saving Christianity. More importantly, they're saving God. That doesn't sound like a Christian to me, because Christians know God does not need to be saved. God is almighty. God is head of the table. God saves you. You don't save him. And this is where the plastic ego complex in regards to not only Trump, but his family and this administration and this infiltrated American Christianity comes in, where they feel and they actually believe that they can save God. That means they're greater than God. isn't that blasphemy? What's the word? Blasphemy? That's, I can say it, but isn't that blasphemy? Like, is it not? So the fact that Eric Trump, the son of Donald Trump, believes that he can save God, you have to believe that Trump believes he probably is God. He's playing God with Americans right now by starving them. So is this really Christian? Are these people really Christian? I'm pretty sure we debunked this a long time ago, that they don't follow the Christian doctrine. They used it to manipulate and gain sympathy votes to get into the White House, all to cover up the Epstein files so that way Donald Trump does not get exposed. But it's just mind-boggling to me that Eric Trump would sit on a platform. Well, it's not mind-boggling to me. And it's not really surprising at this point, because it's like they continue to believe that they are above the law. They continue to believe that they are some deity. And it's not surprising that he would say that he could save God, that they're saving God. God does not need saving, especially from evil succubuses like Eric Trump and the Trump family. But it's just insane to me. And it just shows that this administration and the Trump family does not give a rat's ass about Christianity. To sit here and say a blasphemous statement like that we're saving God. God does not need saving from you. But I wanted to turn to also this clip here. And this is why I say Maga is imploding. Maga is downright imploding on itself because of some of the top influencers that got Trump elected into his first presidency, as well as now his second term as president. They're fighting. The girls are fighting. And here, Ben Shapiro, you can hear him in his voice, the timidness, saying that, oh my God, now these people that I have gotten into power are coming after me. Let's go ahead and take a listen.
Up on Nick Fuentes. Is it helpful to say, you're fucking vile, you're an anti-Semite?
Yes.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it
that
is.
doesn't put a...
Yes, it
no,
is.
it isn't. That makes
Yes,
the audience feel good because you have hand-to-hand combat, but it doesn't help change that guy's view or his extremeness at all.
Okay, I'll tell you what doesn't change Nick Fuentes' view. Tucker Carlson with his arm around Nick Fuentes, grinning for the camera, while Nick Fuentes tweets out America first, and then triumphantly goes on the air the next day to explain that he has essentially used Tucker Carlson as a vehicle for manipulating other people. Okay, that's what Nick Fuentes is saying, not me, Nick Fuentes. Okay, and Nick Fuentes, and by the way, I will again say that Tucker Carlson, when you say to somebody in an interview, do you condemn anti-Semitism? And then the person says, sure, which is what Nick Fuentes said. He said, I'm not an anti-Semite, which is blatantly untrue. Yeah. A responsible journalist would then follow up, demonstrating that that is false. Tucker did not do that. He allowed him to get away with that, and then he allowed him to talk about, quote-unquote, organized Jewry, followed by Nick Fuentes being treated to a disquisition by Tucker Carlson about why Christian Zionists of all human beings on earth are the people that he hates the most.
He took that back.
You can't take that back.
Do you not see the rapidness in his talking? Yes, he usually does talk pretty rapid, but the rapidness in Ben Shapiro, it's the sense of fear that, oh my God, these people that I have aligned with for the past 8 to 10 years actually effing hate me. Hate me because I am Jewish. And I now have to sit here and look at the fact that I put these people in power and now just jeopardized an entire group of people because I wanted to be loyal for a paycheck versus loyal for a community. So here's the thing. Ben Shapiro, in this clip, you can hear him kind of starting to ramble, and that ramble turns into fear. And he realizes now that, oh my God, the people I put into power are going to come after me. And what have Democrats and lefters and the left wing been saying all of this time? That once they come for women's rights, once they come for LGBTQ plus rights, once they come for blacks, once they come for segregation, once they come for each and every demographic of people, once they come for Mexicans and deporting them to who knows where, they're going to come for you. And this is Ben Shapiro's moment of realizing that, oh my God, now I have allowed this rhetoric of white Christian nationalism completely destroy me. Because guess what? Now Nick Fuentes, who has a major community of white young men who believe in his insane rhetoric, his insane, disruptive, and disgusting comments about women, about blacks, about every demographic of person that's not a white person. Now Ben Shapiro is realizing, I allowed these people to have a platform. I gave these people a platform, and now it's going to backfire on me and the people I represent. Because these people never cared about Jewish people. These people in this administration and in the right-wing ecosystem never cared about protecting conservative values like Ben Shapiro wants. No, they only believed in one true goal and only had one true goal, and those blinders were on. And now you are about to feel the effects of your choices. Because like we said, if they come for one, they are going to come for everyone. So I don't feel bad for Ben Shapiro here. I think he's realizing that, oh my God, I effed up. And hopefully the implosion of Maga continues because I'm here for it. But one thing that Megyn Kelly said at the beginning of this interview, it literally pissed me off, but it made me laugh so hard. But let's go ahead and
right
listen.
wing that embraces its own fringes will end up in the same position as a left wing that has embraced its
so that's
fringes.
why I want to get into it. Embraces.
Yes.
So now, having spoken to Tucker, I actually see that interview very differently. And I did listen to the interview, and I knew what Nick Fuentes was. And I think he did show himself to be who he is. It wasn't his most vile stuff, but you got the feel for what this guy was. But I really think Tucker was talking to him, Ben, to put like a bumper on this guy. Because what Tucker was urging him the whole time was to understand that collective punishment for any one group of people is wrong. It's deeply immoral, and it's anti-Christian.
Collective punishment for any one group of person is wrong. It's immoral, and it's anti-Christian. Listen to that comment, okay? Now I want you to listen to her here, okay? This is Megyn Kelly on an interview.
I think that apple fell far from the tree is to delude yourself, because the mother too has been on record as saying there's nothing American.
By the way, I want to preface this. This is Megyn Kelly talking about Zohran Mamdani, the new mayor of New York City, who will be put into office come January 2026. So remember, she said collective punishment for one group of people is not only immoral, but it's anti-Christian. Listen to her words about Mamdani.
American about Zohran. She's very proud. He's not American at all. He was raised in Uganda. He's a Muslim. He's not American. You talk about how a lot of these Muslims, I don't know if they're radical or they're just Muslims, but either way, it's a problem because the tenets of Islam are not consistent with Western civilization. And I'm sorry, but they should not be ascending to our mayors and our governors and so on, because Islam is not consistent with the premises of the West, the basic premises that led to the Bill of Rights.
Now, isn't that collective punishment by not allowing Muslims to hold office in the United States? Now, I understand that the Muslim faith is different from the Christian faith, but her words completely contradict themselves from her standing there across from Ben Shapiro saying collective punishment is not okay and it's immoral and anti-Christian, but then goes and says Muslims should not hold any offices in the United States, acting as if anyone who looks Muslim could practice the Islamic faith. Anyone that looks Muslim then can't hold offices. That's called collective punishment, baby Megyn. And yet you're saying here collective punishment is not okay. So are we just saying collective punishment isn't okay when it comes to white Christians? Because white Christians can't be criticized for their hypocritic ways? Is that it? I'm pretty sure that's what she's getting at. And again, this is what I talk about in this administration over and over and over again. This is what I talk about this administration over and over and over again. It's that when they refer to protecting people, they're not talking about every demographic of people. They are specifically talking about white Christian men. They're talking about white Christian women. They're talking about white people and preserving white Christian nationalism, American Christianity. It's never, ever going to be about protecting every demographic of person on American soil when it comes to the people who support these ideologies. When it comes to people like Ben Shapiro, when it comes to people like Megyn Kelly. It's never going to be about equality, fairness, and the right to the pursuit of happiness for any individual on American soil. It's always, when they discuss protection of rights, it's for the one group of people who they believe and see in God's eyes as the truest and closest thing to God, and that is the white people. So that's what annoys me when it comes to Megyn Kelly, because she's sitting here saying one thing, saying inclusion, protection, collective punishment, not good, but then assuming collective punishment for all Muslims so they can't hold office in the United States. Even off the basis fact of just racial profiling if they look Muslim. Yeah. So I wanted to also talk about, again, just this, it's just insanity when it comes to this administration. Where is it here? Where is it? I wanted to go in regards to Nick Fuentes here, because I have a few things saved. And it shows how evil, vile, and disgusting Nick Fuentes is. Yeah. So Nick Fuentes is just a evil, little, disgusting man. It's gross. You can't even consider him man. He's evil, disgusting scum. From what he puts out into the world, his karma is going to be so horrendous. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of these points that I'm talking about when it comes to now Ben Shapiro kind of having an epiphany, like, oh crap, these people that I've stood side to side with are now turning on me because they don't like me. And here's the thing, before I get into it, here's the thing when it comes to white Christian nationalism. They promote this idea that white Christian nationalism is the one way to God. It is the only American way to exist on American soil. But I just want to say that crime is not specific to one gender, one demographic, one race. So once white Christians, and if white Christians ever get their goal agenda completed and established in the United States, say if there was just white Christians in the United States, right? Guess what, who they're going to turn on? It's going to be like, here's the tracks. If you're on the south side of the tracks, you're garbage, you're dirt, you're gross. If you're on the north side of the tracks, you're good, you're amazing, you're wanted, you're God. And it's never going to end. There will never be this end of discrimination or profiling or boxing in one of another. It will never end. Even if America became suddenly one day, hypothetically, all white Christians, they will find some way to divide each other, because guess what? That's how dynamics work. There will always be a divide. But let's go ahead and look at these clips from Nick Fuentes and how disgustingly vile Nick Fuentes is.
You can call me a Nazi. You better be careful. Because if I'm a Nazi, then there's millions of young people that are following a fucking Nazi. So you better be careful about those words.
That's so evil. And that's so sick. Like, if you're acting like a Nazi and you have Nazi rhetoric, guess what? You're a Nazi. And the fact that he used that as a threat to be like, hey, if you're calling me a Nazi, guess what? Everyone standing behind me is a Nazi. That's a war of words. That's a call to action. That's a, hey, you know what? Maybe it's time to get our Nazi tattoos and start fighting for this America we see as America. It's pretty sadistic thinking, if you really think about it. And not even sadistic thinking. It's sadistic rhetoric to rally a group of people to understand that, hey, we have one understanding about what America should be. Let's rally each other up because we're all Nazis. It's crazy.
You're saying I'm a Nazi, I'm a monster. There's a million monsters then. There's a million Nazis out there then.
That's the problem.
Because they love my show, and they agree with me way more than they agree with you, and they're pissed off. And they'll follow me into battle. So you better be real careful. You're barking up the wrong tree with that. You can call me a Nazi.
Call to action. He says he has his warriors, his internet warriors. So again, it's just the sickness that infiltrates America when it comes to white Christians and white men who have this bruised ego that they believe they need to be a savior for America, when in reality, they just can't even score a job because they're not intelligent enough for it. And instead of working harder, they want to rip away DEI that affords actual qualified individuals opportunities that they wouldn't truly get because of, racist pricks like Nick Fuentes. Let's go ahead and listen to something else. Even though I don't want to.
I'm not surprised why women don't support me. Women are irrational and sensitive. It's just like my whole life. Because I was always like the class clown. I was always like bullying women. And
bullying women.
Women have always been like simultaneously charmed, but also like, oh, stop it. Oh, you're so annoying. You know what I mean? That kind of
lies.
Thing. That's how women are with like
Let me tell you this. No one is looking at that hobbit and saying, oh, he's so charming. I can guarantee you that. No one is looking at this Muppet head hobbit being like, this man is charming. Instead, they are looking at him like he is repulsive. He's one of those high school kids that thought he was hot, but truly wasn't, and everyone made fun of him behind his back. Okay? That's who he was. He was scum. Everyone was grossed out and weirded out by him, and he probably smelled like hot Cheetos 24/7. Okay? The hot Cheetos were coming from his balls. That's what it was when it comes to this man. Like, this scum. He's not a man. This scum. It's disgusting.
With like my personality type, you're like a rascal. You're like a bastard. And they're kind of like, because I'm like a rule breaker and stuff. And so
you're not a rule breaker. You're just a shit talker. And just because you have a microphone and a podcast doesn't mean you'll go to war tomorrow. I'm pretty sure if they tried to draft you, you would be running.
Women simultaneously are intrigued by that, but they also have to pretend like they're not, because women, it's sort of like how
no one's pretending that they're not interested in you. I can guarantee you that. Guarantee you.
A lot of women want to be raped. And when I say raped, I mean like, that sounds bad when I say it like that. But there's like a lot of women that really want a guy to beat the shit out of them. But also they have to pretend, but part of it is they have to pretend like they don't.
This is what kids are listening to. This is what young white men in America, even black men in America, are listening to. That women want to be raped. This is insane. And this is not okay. And this leads me to Jesse Mack Butler. If you guys don't know who Jesse Mack Butler is, let me go ahead and pull up an article. I'm glad this segued into this because it's, again, let me go ahead and pull up a picture of him, actually. This is Jesse Mack Butler. Of course, no pictures just want to pull up, but okay. This is Jesse Mack Butler. Not a good picture because it's all blurry. Why is everything blurry on Google today? Everything I pull up on Google is just blurry. Anyway, this is Jesse Mack Butler. And he's probably the kind of guy that follows the words of Nick Fuentes in that women want to be raped. And it's disgusting that that would come out of anyone's mouth. But the fact that this man says he has millions of followers that are Nazis just like him, that hinge on every word he says and believes it to be some sort of gospel, allows it to infiltrate Americans' minds, white young men American minds, to the point of this man, Jesse Mac Butler. Now, I don't know if Jesse Mac Butler ever listened to Nick Fuentes. I don't know anything truly too deep about Jesse Mac Butler. I'm still getting into the case myself because I'm looking into it and I'm investigating myself before I report on it. But this man, Jesse Mac Butler, strangled, sodomized, and raped multiple girls in Oklahoma. And not only did he commit these actions, but he's getting away with these actions as a youthful offender to protect his future. And this is a young white man. If this was a man of any other demographic, they would be treated as an adult. They would be tried as an adult, not only for one count, but I believe from what I remember, 10 felony counts of misconduct against women. And again, this is why I say America has an accountability problem when it comes to men like Jesse Mac Butler, when it comes to men like Nick Fuentes, who promotes and promulgates this information that is so sadistic that it infiltrates and just tarnishes young men's minds. The fact that a man can sit on a live and say, women want to be raped, and allow that to infiltrate young men's minds is scary and sadistic. And when you allow that to happen, when you allow a president who said, grab him by the pussy, when you allow these sick influencers to say, rape young women, they want it. You get Jesse Mac Butler, who actually does it. So on that, I am going to go ahead and say adios for tonight. We had a long conversation about this hypocrisy when it comes to the left, where the Democrats go if they decide to cower, because honestly, it's not going to be good for them if they cower in regards to this shutdown. But overall, I want to take away this message, and it is extremely important that I say it, that the people or the influencers and the politicians on the right are really promoting some ideologies that are harmful to every demographic of person. They are instilling policies and acts and laws that look to target certain groups of people. Influencers are saying horrific things that lead to action. Not only just action, but disgusting, heinous crimes, such as Jesse Mac Butler. Take it seriously. These people have platforms. These people have ears listening to them. And the only way to infiltrate that is to continue talking about the truth and how what Nick Fuentes says is not okay. What he says is disgusting and should never be taken seriously when it comes to women or minority communities. What he says is an echo chamber of what the right thinks. And it's scary that half of America voted for a man like Trump, who has ears in the echo chambers of Nick Fuentes. So remember it, keep spreading the truth. And also, Epstein files. We're not forgetting about it, because I know the government shutdown and the Republicans want you to forget about the Epstein files, but don't forget about them. That's the reason the government is truly shut down. The SNAP benefit is a cover-up. It's truly because they don't want that signature, that last vote, for those Epstein files to come out. Anyway, guys, if you haven't already, you guys can go ahead and hit that subscribe button right here on YouTube. All the other information is right up here, and I will catch you guys on the next episode of the Civil Point Podcast. Like I said, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you on the next brand new episode. Bye!